I'm Rosalie Woloski, and right now I'm the producer of Saskatoon Morning, CBC Saskatoon's morning radio show here in the city. I've been in journalism for the past 50 years, starting out in Winnipeg in 1970. There weren't very many women. There were a few. It wasn't like I was breaking new ground and being the first woman. But back in those days, what happened was, as a new female reporter, new male reporters could come in and work in the newsroom. We were shoved off into another room where we were working on the lifestyle section, which was the old women's pages because we were women, and we had to write up. I was very bad at this, so they stopped giving these assignments. But wedding announcements and engagement announcements and social announcements and all of these things. Well, I was terrible. I mean, I wasn't just terrible because I didn't want to do it. I really was bad at this kind of thing. So they started giving me other assignments, and what was interesting is in those days that was the beginning of the second wave of the feminist movement, and so all of these things that were happening in the 70s were stories that should have been on the front pages of stories, but were relegated to the lifestyle section, which I got to cover, which actually turned out to be quite good because it was history in the making. And I was there only because I was a woman, and they thought it was a nothing story. The changes have been actually they've been wonderful. I mean, there's nothing, we all talk about, well, it's not like the old days and I don't have as much time. I mean, back in those days, I had a lot of time to sit because there were reporters were a dime a dozen. So, and I had beats, right? In time I did get out into the newsroom and I was a beat reporter, and I could spend time having coffee and talking to my contacts and developing all these contacts. And in some ways, you worked longer and harder. Well, I wouldn't say harder, longer, but it was a slower pace. And a part of it being newspaper as opposed to broadcast. But so, yes, that kind of storytelling has changed dramatically. But things have opened up so much, and the ability to communicate directly with people, and everything, the social media, the podcasting. I just think go for it. Be creative, find what is out there, and what you can do with it, because it's never, I mean, for a reporter, I don't think, or a journalist, I don't think it's been a better time. I mean, it's a difficult time, and I think what's difficult about it is what we hear so much about is false news, because what we had back in the 70s, the 80s, the 90s is people, they may not like us, but they believed us. They believed us. And now the challenge for any reporter today is being able to differentiate their work from that of the false news that's out there wherever, and the fact that so many people now don't know how to differentiate and don't know what to believe, and that's going to be the challenge for reporters going forward. There is nothing in journalism. I mean, there's nothing out there that beats journalism for the camaraderie and the intellectual stimulation that it brings. I'm a curious person. When I was a kid, they called me Nosy Rosie, and so I can ask. I've had 50 years of being able to ask every question that popped into my head, and I hope I can still do it, but I won't have the credentials to do it anymore, and that's what I'm going to miss. And the opportunity to talk and ask those questions of people from every walk of life, and I think that's what I'm going to miss most. I hope that this profession um, continues to evolve and develop as it has. I don't see it as being the end of journalism. It never will be the end of journalism. I just have so much faith in the creativity, the inventiveness, and the curiosity of people in this profession. I'm just I'm really looking forward to seeing what will come next, because I know we will evolve and it'll be another form of storytelling, but it'll always be storytelling. Receiving the Lifetime Achievement Award is Well, first of all, it fills me with a great deal of pride and thankfulness. And I, it's also a validation. I guess that's what it is. It's a validation. You know, I love this profession. I've worked hard in it. I think I have anyway. Um, and it's a validation of what I've done, and you know, it always is good when people and your peers recognize the efforts that you put in. Uh, you know, as a female reporter, there were, I think, many challenges, and I'm just glad I stuck with it. Although I have to say that I never entertained leaving it because I loved it so much.